So let's get more on Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, and with that we bring in Chris Kline. He is the Chief Operating Officer at Bitcoin IRA. Chris, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, Bitcoin is a mystery to many still, Chris. So help us understand who generates Bitcoins. Governments print their money. So who or what is the equivalent of the Bitcoin mint, if you will?
The Bitcoin mint is the users and the miners themselves. So there's supercomputers out there now, like ant miners, etc., that are going through and solving algorithmic, difficult mathematical, layered complication, mathematical formulations in order to mine a Bitcoin. What makes that a beautiful concept compared to what you said, printing of money by central banks, is it's finite. There will only be 21 million Bitcoins ever mined in the history of our humankind, and that makes it quite starkly different than fiat currency out there today.
Would that be unless another puzzle is created to mine more Bitcoins?
That's something that people have put out there, but really the blockchain and the mining of it becomes this ICO world of alternative coins, like Ethereum, which has had a gangbuster of a week as well, and others that are coming to fruition are using that same mathematical computation with a different supply and a different purpose and utility for their coins and for their technology.
Chris, let's go back to this mining process. Okay, so we understand it's a puzzle, and if you solve it, you get rewarded. But who exactly is compiling the puzzle, and then who decides how much the puzzle is worth, if you will?
Well, the users, again, drive the demand of the use of that. So at one point in time, just 7 years ago, somebody used a Bitcoin to buy a pizza. And today, as you said, it broke almost to 2,800 and then fell back 300 and is settled nicely, I think, when I left the office, around $2,400 today. And so that price is driven by the supply and demand of that particular product. The white paper from Satoshi Nakamoto and the process by which the miners go through using CPU and all of the cost of creating it. Remember, there's power to creating a computer that then solves mathematical solutions. And those solutions cost energy. So there's your hard cost right there of how hard and difficult and long does it take to solve the problem, generates the hard cost of it. Then you have the secondary market of buyers and sellers that are looking at this for speculative gain, or others are looking at it as a long-term hold, as a hedge against other currency issues in today's marketplace.
So, Chris, I get that this is consensus-driven. We're all buying into it, therefore it's worth something. But the U.S. dollar, it's backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. What is backing Bitcoin other than this consensus? Is there any intrinsic value here?
Intrinsic value, no. But really, if you think about the purchasing power and the dilution of the dollar since the Treasury began in 1913, it's lost about 97% of its supply of its purchasing power. Now, you're right. The American people accept it, and it's backed by the Treasury. But that Treasury has diluted this monetary supply of that 10 times fold every year with its quantitative easing that's taking place. So that's all about trust, balance, and support as well. A $20 trillion debt is something that doesn't bear down things like Bitcoin and Ethereum.
No, it doesn't. And speaking of Ethereum, another cryptocurrency that's gained popularity and traction, do you see this as a trend? Do you see more alternative currencies coming up?
Absolutely. I think that we just scratched the surface. The other day, I was quoted stating that Bitcoin is finite. That's its ultimate allure. Ethereum is practical and efficient. I spoke yesterday with my grandfather, and he asked me to explain it in one sentence, and I told him it's simple. It's the solution to all of our common headaches. Ethereum and the smart contracts that it drives can replace things like, have you ever been to the doctor the first time and you need to fill out all that cumbersome paperwork on that clipboard while you're sitting in the waiting room trying to figure out somebody's social and maiden name? All of those things can go out of our heads, as well as other contracts and things in our lives. So each application of a new token is going to be the digitization of efficiency for our lives. There's so many more coming. The ICO space is rampant. There's new things with Litecoin, Dash, and others. And each time they get vetted and they start getting the right amount of market cap, that's where you really start to see things take off. 86 new companies joined the Ethereum Alliance on Monday at the consensus that CoinDesk held in New York City. That's a very exciting time, and not just small, big ones like Microsoft and Deloitte, but other just, Japanese, Mitsubishi, across the board. This is an international concept. Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to be accepted by major countries. Japan has made it a legal currency. Australia is removing the double taxation. A massive movement towards mainstream adoption is occurring right now.
All right, Chris Kline, thank you so much.